Hi, my name's Darren Field. I am the founder and managing director of Buzzards Field Ukuleles, and I'm here to answer some questions. What inspired me to start an instrument business? Well, the journey began about 15 years ago when, as a teacher, I was travelling around doing supply work with my ukulele, and started with a school where I took my ukulele out to play, and a few of the children mentioned that there were other teachers that had a ukulele band. So introduced myself to them. Long story short, we formed a quartet, and because I had experience playing the bass, I was asked to play bass in the ukulele band, which didn't take very long for me to feel a bit left out, being the only person holding a long-necked instrument. At the time, Rotoad and Carla had just invented the U-bass, which was a fantastic looking instrument, but extremely expensive. I couldn't afford it on my short salary as a teacher. So I decided to make one for myself. I looked at the half-size Spanish guitars that were available, and I thought maybe we could turn one of those into a bass ukulele, which I did. And the first one was rough and terrible and looked horrible, and somebody offers me some money for it. So I sold it to them and made another one, which was better. Again, that was sold, and several itinerations later decided to start making these ukuleles, which I've made for myself initially for other people. That was the beginning of Buzzards Field basses, as it was then. It later developed into Buzzards Field Ukuleles, and is in the process now, I think, of developing into something even broader than that. What sets Buzzards Field apart is that the focus is very much on value, innovation and fun. It's about producing instruments which people can play to enjoy, and the focus is on making music rather than making something which is especially beautiful or especially expensive or a status symbol of any description. So the innovation side of things is also looking for an opportunity to create something which is a bit different or a different way of doing something. So I think if you look at our present lineup, particularly with the bass ukuleles or the bass banjoleles, and also with the Heal and So stomp boxes, they're all there to be played and enjoyed, and all offer something which is a little bit different and easier. There was one particular moment that made me realise this was the path that I wanted to take recently, as I have now turned this business into something more than just a hobby, which I have been for many years. I had a multiple slip disc, which prevented me from working. At the time I was doing lorry driving after 19 years as a teacher, and I found myself not able to do sitting or carrying or lifting. My happy place is the workshop, making instruments, getting dusty, inventing things, and that was the moment that I decided to take this further and make it into the business which it's growing into today. The instruments that we offer at the moment focus primarily on stringed ukulele-based instruments and percussion instruments. So the biggest sellers, or the most important ones really, I suppose, would be the bass banjoleles, which we produce. I say we, me, which I produce. And the converted Afghan ukuleles, bass ukuleles, which themselves are used making one of the Buzzards Field kits. I take a brand new classical guitar, half-size classical guitar, and turn it into a bass ukulele in using the process described in the instructions provided in the kits. So I also supply kits, and the kits are there which give you the opportunity of going away and making your own ukulele, or bass ukulele rather, from the half-size Spanish guitar which you can source. Many of us have one of those knocking around from the days of our childhood or our kids' childhood, and they can be brushed down and turned into a bass ukulele. The design of new instruments and the notion of new instruments comes from a constant sense of curiosity. I'm always thinking about another instrument which I might be able to produce, or might be able to produce, which isn't available at the moment. Something which is fun, something which is not beyond the realms of my ability to produce, and something which I think would appeal to a number of people, whether that be a small number of people or a larger number of people. Again, the focus of the business is innovation, value and enjoyability. So anything that fits into those categories I'm constantly thinking about, and my workshop is full of half projects and things which I've begun innovating and decided to go a different direction on. Particular finishes and woods that define the style that I produce. The woods that I use almost exclusively are oak and sapelli. Sometimes I will use mahogany, which of course sapelli is a variety of. Iroko from time to time as well. I'm a big fan of Aquila. Aquila, the string manufacturer in Italy, provides the strings that I use for both of the ukuleles and the bass ukuleles. So predominantly those are the materials that I use. As for finishes, I like a natural finish. So shellac gets used often. A lacquer finish gets used often. Occasionally even oils. Because of the price points I'm putting the instruments at, providing a full glassy gloss finish is prohibitive in terms of time. So I like to look at the woods, so let's show it off and use that. The type of musician that comes and purchases my products varies. The kits particularly range from people buying it for themselves out of curiosity. They have an interest in music, through to fairly accomplished musicians that want something different for recording. Styles of music varies. Folk is quite a big style, roots kind of music, but they're also pop music. Because the bass banjoleles particularly look interesting, they also appeal to people that want something to impress, or rather just to show off to their friends, I suppose. The price points I'm pitching at is a pretty good value price point. So to say that these musicians that place a high quality, high value on status is incorrect. The musicians that come to me enjoy their music, they like to play, or they enjoy woodworking, or if they're buying a gift, they know somebody who would enjoy doing something DIY and would like to play something for themselves, like to play an instrument they've made and be an amateur idiot. Several customers stick in my mind, and instruments that I've built, all for very good reasons. One particular ukulele is a tenor ukulele that I built, a solid tenor ukulele that went off to a lady that lived in Brazil. She was so delighted with it, she got back in touch with me and offered me a place for myself and a partner to stay with her in, I think it's Buenos Aires. Is that correct, for Brazil? I believe, my memory might be fading. That stuck in my mind. That was a wonderful compliment. Also, an order that I sent off early on for a banjolele to, of all places, Hawaii. That went to a customer in Hawaii, and various other customers in the UK, including one gentleman in the early days who commissioned a solid bass to be built. It's quite a geometrically shaped thing. He gave it a name, and we've stayed in touch ever since, and he regularly sends me links to music that he's produced and has used for his own recording purposes, and yeah, it's very nice to see it still being used. There is a community of musicians already. The ukulele community is a wonderful community. It is friendly and open, and it is welcoming. Beyond that, the open mic community, the roots community, the guitar playing community, there is already a large community of musicians, and I feel privileged and very glad to be a part of that. As for Buzzards Field, there are various places that you can get involved. There's a Facebook webpage that you can get involved with if anybody happens to want to do that. But I enjoy my time as a musician, as a local musician, as a folk and pop musician, and I hope that Buzzards Field is a part of that as opposed to its own community by itself. Challenges. Every instrument that I produce is built by me. It's built by hand with a large amount of help with power tools, but also with hand tools such as chisels and good old sandpaper. Some instruments are born and the delivery is very easy, and everything goes according to plan, and the measurements and everything are spot on. The wood behaves in the way that it should be. Some instruments take a little bit longer and are more of a struggle to bring into the world, and it might be that the wood hasn't behaved as it should do and needs to be adjusted. It might be that small imperfections in measurements made at the very beginning have a larger impact at the end, and again, small redesigns and adjustments need to be made. But that is part and part of a hand-built instrument, is that each one is individual. So some of the challenges are producing an instrument which I'm going to be happy sending out of the door, which has been fighting me a little bit during the course of the build. The most rewarding part of the process is turning a piece of solid lumber into the neck and the stock of an instrument. It's that gross moment of having a piece of sapelli, which may once have been a part of furniture, or may once have been a part of a sleeper of some description. Chopping it, slicing it, sanding it, crafting it, filing it, designing it, and turning it into that piece of wood that I can run my hands down the neck of and feel the life starting to come to it. Because when a piece of wood becomes an instrument, it becomes an extension of what it is already, and was already a living thing. It's a very satisfying moment to see something coming out of nothing and its potential starting to be laid bare. Sustainability in making instruments, making wooden instruments particularly, is becoming something that we all need to be aware of. The CITES agreement the past few years have made it very difficult, understandably so, to trade in exotic hardwoods. So many luthiers have started to look elsewhere from the traditional tonewoods that they use. For me, because I tend not to produce instruments which are acoustic on their own merits, the acoustic instruments I produce are made with drum heads. It's less of a concern to me. Tonewoods are less of a concern. The woods that I get in, I get from something called the Somerset Wood Recycling Project, which is, as it sounds, a place where wood gets donated and then purchased to save it going to landfill. So a number of the species of wood that I use, particularly the mahogany type woods, are very endangered, so I wouldn't purchase new woods, but use woods which have been donated or recycled. And by doing that, I know that I am contributing to a more sustainable future for the environment, because the wood that I'm using is not being harvested and not replaced. Next 5 or 10 years for me in the business, I have big plans. The business started properly in February of this year, and it's grown slowly since then. My aims are to learn more as an entrepreneur and to apply the lessons that I've already learned from mistakes which have been made in the business. I want to expand the instruments that I'm making. I want to improve the level of consistency, which in turn will make the instruments easier and quicker to produce, which in turn will make them more affordable to the end user, which is you. As a result of doing that, free up my time and provide me the opportunity to take some employees on board and develop other ranges of instruments. The philosophy will always remain innovation, value, and enjoyability and fun. But the future is going to be a case of providing for me a business which supports my meagre lifestyle and continues to make me feel glad about waking up on a Monday morning and considering the work that I do. A message or a feeling that I would hope musicians to have when they play my instruments is that they enjoy their music. That's the be all and end all. That is what it's all about. They enjoy the music they make for themselves, or that they enjoy the music they're recording, or even more so, that they enjoy the music they make with other people in a community, at open mic, in a band, when they're performing, when they're busking, whenever they're doing what they want to do. The instruments that I produce are there to be made, to be enjoyed, and that's what I hope people think of when they take out one of my instruments and begin to play one of my instruments, is that they're enjoying it and it's going to enhance their enjoyment and the fun that they have being a musician.